that was enough just to give you a sense.
So with Simon the Zealot, we also have kind of another character misinterpreting Jesus in a almost totally different way. And with the two different stagings, we kind of get two different facets of this. The 1973 one, you have all these people dancing almost this ecstatic dance with Jesus at the center, almost like he's like, I don't know, a pagan god or something. This almost like Dionysian kind of thing where they want Jesus to kiss them and touch them. And then we have this 2001 where Simon basically leads a revolt against the Roman soldiers. So two very different interpretations, but I think kind of on the same side, on the same coin, basically.
Yeah, they're both sort of misinterpreting why Jesus is there. He even says that in For Jerusalem, none of you understand what real power and glory is, which is fairly synonymous actually with what the gospel says about it. People are consistently trying to make Jesus king, and he has to actually avoid them making him king. Historically is actually true too. There's tons of rebellions. There's tons of messiahs that was trying to reinstitute Israel. You can even look at the story of Maccabees, which is an apocryphal book in the Roman Catholic book, but that's the story of some rebellions that were rising up to try to retake Israel. So that movement was in the air, but Jesus was consistently talking about it's a different kingdom, it's a different place, and so he's trying to change their perspective on that.
And Jesus delivers this kind of scathing line where he says, if you saw the truth, you would still close your eyes. Or something like that, which is kind of really, really damning for Simon Zealot, for sure. That even Jesus, once again, Jesus is constantly telling the truth, but to either refuse to accept it or they misinterpret it.
They do shift Jesus's words here a little bit, because when he says For Jerusalem in the Bible, he actually mourns over Jerusalem as the place that kills martyrs, and how much he longs to just gather them in his wings like a mother hen. And so they do shift his words a little bit here to sort of, for their own purpose. But nonetheless, this is one of the only times in the Bible that in this story, that they actually even get close to the resurrection. They give that little hint of you only have to die to conquer death. You could interpret that a few ways though. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, because you conquer death by dying too. It's just a different kind of way of conquering it, not necessarily what we believe.
And after Jesus says that, Simon looks up at Jesus very puzzled.
Oh yeah.
And he knows that Jesus has basically redirected everything he was hoping to establish Jesus as almost this warrior king or something. And then Jesus is talking about dying prematurely before any of this happens.
It's also interesting, Judas isn't a part of this story, but he's watching from the outside, and you just see this disgust. Like, all he sees, the people that are following Jesus, like this craze, like this.
What's interesting is, in this song, it's really the only time where Jesus and Judas seem to agree about something. That Simon is crazy, or a bit irrational about what is going on. So that's kind of interesting. You see the shared disgust about Jesus' face and Judas's face.
Jesus shows a little more patience in this moment than he does in some of the other parts of this story, which I think is more reminiscent of Jesus in general in the gospel, because he's smiling, he's welcoming them like little children, which just happened prior, because there's also the entering Jerusalem that happened in the scene before. But in this moment, he seems to be patient with them and then tries to redirect them. We don't see that in all of Jesus's moments. We don't quite get that patience. But let's watch the temple and the lepers.